We are going to work on DeltaMath again with two-way frequency tables. So you did a little bit of this last year in Math 8, and what we're doing this year really isn't any different. So hopefully you'll find that this is a review. But just to make sure that you remember how this works. So basically you're going to get the information in a chart. So you can see across this row right here, these are the number of students that play a sport. These are the number of students that do not play a sport. These students right here play an instrument, and these students do not play an instrument. So the way we read this is that we have 5 students that play a sport but not an instrument. We have 11 students that do both. We have 7 students that don't do either. And then if we were looking to answer a question, which we're about to, we can see that there's 14 kids that play an instrument, and there's 12 kids that do not play an instrument. So that looks like there was 26 kids that were surveyed for this frequency table. All right, looking across at playing a sport, we have 16 kids that play a sport, 10 kids that do not play a sport. Again, that's 26 kids that were surveyed, so you can look either way for the total. All right, so for this question, so this table is showing us students playing sport or instrument. So what's the probability that a student chosen randomly does not play a sport? Okay, so does not play a sport. So we have 10 kids that do not play a sport. So I'm going to say that my answer is 10 over, and I just use the fraction bar, the slash, 26, because 10 out of 26 kids do not play a sport. Now, I can reduce it, but for this DeltaMath, we don't have to. So if you scroll down, you can see what your solution is and then what the acceptable answers were. So when some of you are saying that you put the same answer, make sure you scroll down and see what your solution was. So, all right, new problem, same idea, all right? Okay, similar chart, different numbers here. So we have 9 kids playing an instrument, 14 that do not, so that makes a total of 23 kids in the class. If we look this way, we have 7 kids that play sport, 16 that do not, but again, that's 23 students. Okay, so what's the probability that a student chosen randomly from the class plays a sport or an instrument? Okay, so we have 9 that play an instrument, and then we have 7 that play a sport, but we already counted those 5. So we have 9 that play an instrument and 2 more that play a sport. So that gives me a total of 11 slash for out of. Now I forgot what we said. Was it, well, let's just add it back up. So we have 7 and 16, so 23. So 11 out of 23 kids play an instrument or a sport. So we'll submit that. And again, if you look down here, you can see what the options were and what your solution was. All right, let's do one more. I think you get the idea. Okay, this one has different information. So we are looking at students and whether they have a brother or sister. So we have 2 students that have both. 9 students have a sister but not a brother. 10 students don't have either. So we have 10 only children here. And then we have 7 students that don't have a sister but do have a brother. So if we look at this, we have 9 right here and 19. So there's 28 kids that were surveyed in this class. So out of 28 kids, what's the probability that someone has a brother and a sister? So that means both. So that would be 2 out of 28. So we can write 2 out of 28, or I know that that would reduce to be 1 over 14. So either one is correct. And again, if you look right here, you can put the answer before it was simplified or after. All right, so I hope that gives you a head start. So the questions are just going to continue to be the same. And you're just looking for how many kids fall into this category out of the total number of kids that you're talking about in the question.